in the Pasuk Matei V'Lachiyakim Mishkenitzach Yisrael, we spoke about in Shabbos that that the Mashal said that he doesn't say this Pasuk in the beginning of davening because he said it doesn't make sense. Agoy said it.
The Chumash, I mean.
So all the Mefarshim say, "What are you talking about?"
The Chumash, I mean.
The Gemara says that they thought to be kaveya it in Parshas Shema. Furthermore, we take say in Rosh Hashanah in the Psukim Malchus. Through us melech boy, lo hibet avim Yaakov l'ro amol b'Yisrael. We say this pasuk. Chazal will convey it to say the pasuk.
You're going to say the Mashal didn't say that pasuk in Rosh Hashanah?
That's the shalom. I'm
making the point.
Right.
I'm making the point.
So the Rebbe says that really this is in the Siddur of Amram Gaon, which was the first Siddur that was ever published, ever written as a Siddur. The Rebbe Amram Gaon says that every time you go into a shul, you should say Matei V'Lachiyakim Mishkenitzach Yisrael. Some people do that.
Yeah.
So the Alter Rebbe has right. So the Alter Rebbe said that there are certain things like the Alter Rebbe had certain shittas that the L'chayr Shulchan Aruch doesn't say, and the Alter Rebbe said if the Shulchan Aruch had seen the Ramban that I saw that the Shulchan Aruch didn't see, I would also agree. So the Rebbe said, had the Marshal seen the Siddur of Amram Gaon, which was not so available back then,
he would have said,
he was a Gaon, he was the first Siddur that was written, all the Siddurim are after his Siddur, he would also be Maskim. Anyway, so it's a very important, Matei V'Lachiyakim is a very important pasuk, and that's Chov Daled, in Balak Chov Daled, hey. Chov Daled, hey.
Someone told me the Rebbe says that you use the word "Matavu Alecha," not your houses, not but Bible. Or is a temporary. Even a temporary, the Jewish people are watching this.
Oh, that's just the famous Sicha we're learning now.
Oh yeah,
the famous Sicha. The Rebbe said even the temporary. The Rebbe gehat später avort a moire dike wort.
I think you go in the summertime and then. What's the lashon אחטא ואשוב? When I come to the city, I have a...
Oh, Tazai. Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. The Rebbe's word. So you know what? Let's start Pasuk Aleph. Let's start Pasuk Aleph.
You made papers from his brother-in-law did this last week.
He did the Sicha last week?
They made papers for him. No, not exactly. It's no, the same halo. Spoke about it, but not that Sicha.
Vayar Bilom kitoy bein Hashem lavarach Yisrael v'laharach kefam befam v'kras nachoshem vayosem vayoshes. I'm sorry, vayoshes el midbar ponav. Rashi Pasuk Aleph Chov Daled Aleph Chov Daled Aleph. Rashi says. Vayar Bilam Kitoiv Omer Eini Roitze Livdik B'Kadosh Baruch Hu Ki Lo Yachpetz L'Kalam. I know already the Eibush doesn't want to curse them. Lo Loch Kepam B'Pam Kasher Oso Shtei Pamim L'Kas Nachoshem L'Nachash Ula Yikre Hashem L'Krose Kiritzoyne Omer Roitze V'Eini Roitze L'Kalalom Askir Avonu Seim V'Akolo Ala Askoros Avonu Stochu. After 2 times going out and thinking that Eibush will allow him to curse the Jews, the 3rd time he got smart. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to turn to the Midbar and I'm going to find their Avedis, like it says in the Targum, Vishavi l'koval egla the Avdu Yisrael b'mad b'rapu. He turned to the place of the Egel Azov and he said, I'm just going to mention the Avedis and Mamela, the Klola will be chal automatically. Next pasuk Beis. Huh?
I am Kotzer V'Lachem Ruba.
Who is talking here?
By mistake, sorry.
Oh.
Yep, played something on my phone.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Sure.
Now you can mute yourself. Vayisa Vilum Asaina Ilum picked up his eyes. Vayaris Yisrael Sheikh Mishvatav. He saw the Yidden arresting Lishvatav. Vatiyah of Ruach Lakim, he had the Ruach Lakim. Rashi says, what's the pshat? Vayisa bilam asayna bikish lachel b'am ayin roa. V'rei lecho sholosh midos of ayin roa, v'kevoy nefesh lechova. Sheichem l'shvata, v'ro kol shevet v'shevet, sheichem l'atma, me'im me'einon me'uravin. He saw that every shevet is, Yehuda was camping separate from Shimon and from Levi. He also saw another thing, that the doors of their tent was not connected to each other. That a person can't look into his friend's oil. It's an unbelievable mid of tznius. He decided not to curse them. In other words, Ruach Lakim, the way Rashi is learning is not the way most Meforshim learn. The Ruach Lakim over here means the Ruach HaNevuah. The Rashi doesn't learn that means Ruach HaNevuah because
put in his heart that he should not curse.
Because Bechlal, Ruach HaNevuah, Rashi says Vayikor, Loshen Ari, Gnai, Loshen Tuma, Keri. And so Rashi doesn't want to say Ruach Lakim over here means Ruach HaNevuah, like other Rishonim say means Ruach HaNevuah. Zoya says Vatiyah love Ruach Lakim means Al Bnei Yisrael. That's not Pshat Shemikra. Vatiyah love Ruach Lakim means Al Bnei Yisrael. Okay, for the Medrash, the Zoya, that's a pastor talking about Pshat. That Rashi doesn't like to say it. But Achaim HaKodesh today is your side, like you mentioned before. So Vatiyah love Ruach Lakim, that he saw that the Yidden have Ruach Lakim. Again, it's in Pshat Shemikra, it's a gate nicht. And to say Vatiyah lo Ruach Lakim, he had the Ruach Nevuah, Rashi doesn't like. So Rashi says Vatiyah lo Ruach Lakim means Allah believe he had a good thing that came to him.
The average they put in his heart, he shouldn't be.
He shouldn't
want to.
He shouldn't want to be Mekal. Okay. After that, Visa Mishal Be'emer, Num Bilam B'nai V'or, Num Agevish Sumai. Okay, so he started to talk. Now. And what does he say? Matoy v'alecha Yaakov mishkanesach Yisrael. Look at Rashi. Matoy v'alecha al shiro pischein. Sheinu mechavonim zeh mul zeh. He saw that the doors are not mechavim one connected the other. Mishkanesacha means chani yisech. Ketergumay. Dover acher matoy v'alecha matoy v'oil shilo yubei selam b'yeshuvah. How beautiful is the oil? What's the oil? Is the base of Mikdash in Shiloh, and later the first and second base of Mikdash while they're built. Shemakim Kabanas l'chaper alei. Mishkanzach afshem chalevim l'fi shehem mashken aleim. V'churban kapor ala nefoshes. Shenema, it says in the pasuk kila shemas chamose. B'ma kila v'yetzes eish b'tzin. You versteht sich every year when you learn this Rashi. Like Rebbe said, Melen de Avasa. Go through quickly. It's a shtakin kashas. It's not a complicated Rashi. It sounds like a nice medrash. And weitergegangen, there's no kashas. But the Rebbe says in Pshuta Shemikra, if you learn the Rashi, the Rebbe says right away 10 kashas that you have. Right away 10 kashas. Premise that this Sicha is I was thinking to print out the Sicha again, and without my computer, it can go understand. But anyway, Kaponim will go through very quickly what the kashas are. So,
Why you need to do this?
First of all, you need two pirushim. Usually, the Rebbe's in halach is the first pshat is more core of the pshut shall make. Elamai, there's a kasha in it that you can't get around. So you have to have a second pshat. Second pshat emphasis the kasha. Elamai, second pshat is b'chlal very far from pshut shall make. Therefore, Rashi brings two pshat. So that's one kasha. Another kasha is, what do you mean chani yosecha? Say poshet. Mishkan is loshen yochid. Mishkan yosecha is 10 mishkanos. What mit dem Rashi sagt chani yosecha? B'chlal in the pasuk you never find the word chani yosecha. Chani yoseinu.
Matchil loshen yochid and finish loshen ha'aretz.
Idea of what's the loshen of here. And what's matov? What's azoy the toiv? Here, could you give me a chumash? Oh, here. We're talking about Toiva Lachayak. Yeah. Kuf Tzadik Ches. Yeah.
regular chumash.
Yeah. Regular chumash. I'm giving you a chumash. For a regular chumash.
Yeah, I find it. Yeah.
Here. No, I have it. Yeah. So, Matoiva Lachayaka Mishkanasach Yisrael. So the first kasha is Mishkan Secha. Rashi says Chani Yosecha. Why doesn't it say Mishkan is Lashon Yochel, Mishkan Secha Lashon Haba? And what's Matoiva? What's so special? What's Azoy Toiv in the Chani Yosecha? What's so Toiv? Number 3. Why do we have two pshatim? Number 4. Why is Rashi quotes 2 times Matoiva Lachayaka? Number 5. Why does he say Shilim Beis Elamim and doesn't say the Mishkan? Number 6. What's the toiv? Rashi says that toiv. Why is it so good to have a Beis Hamikdash? Because they bring karbanos. What do you mean? It's toiv to have a Beis Hamikdash because we have Asheros Hashchina. V'osel Mikdash shechanta b'toicha. Number 7. What's this funny lashon kapara al nefoshes? And what's the raya from the psukim? Well, how is this the psukim a raya? Okay. Here's the Rebbe's explanation. We said before in a few, again, we'll go back a few psukim. In the beginning of the page Kuf Tzadik Ches, passing base. Rashi says Ruach Elokim doesn't mean a Ruach Nevuah. You got to a good spirit came into him. He was a nasty guy. He was real super duper nasty guy. He had Ayin Ra, Ruach Gevoya, Nefesh Rechava. He was a super duper nasty guy. All of a sudden, he got an unbelievable ruach. He got a spirit, a good spirit in him, not to curse them, to bless them. Why? Because he saw Sheikh and Lishvotov. What did Rashi say? 2 things. Number 1, he saw every shevet the Sheikh and Latzoi. Number 2, he saw that the opening of their tents are not towards each other, which is a mid of tznius. What is who told Rashi all this? Because Rashi is trying to understand what's Pshavatil of Ruach Hashem. All of a sudden, he's a nasty guy, and he hates the Jews more than Balak. And he tried to curse them already 2 times, and the Rebbe Shalom put a. And the 3rd time, he thought he's going to be a Oibachochem. He says, I'm just going to mention their sins, and automatically the klal is going to be chal. The guy was trying to curse them as much as possible. All of a sudden, why? Because he saw something. He saw Sheikh L'Shvatim. What's so special, Sheikh L'Shvatim? So Rashi says, number 1, he saw that every shevet was separate. That's an inyan of tznius. Why? Because every mishpacha is a mishpacha, like they say in certain sections in New York. That Father's Day is a very difficult day. I don't know who's the father, right? Yeah, they don't know. So here they came, every family, every shevet. There was a yichud. Everyone knows who's his father. So that's in of tznius, that every shevet was together. But because the pasuk says lishvot, not sheikh lishvotim, lishvot tov, so Rashi learns that there were 2 things. Number 1, he saw that every shevet was separate. Even though he was very far away, he could see there was a flag for Yehuda, there was a flag for Yisachar, there was a flag for Zavulun. He could see that they're separate. But when he looked a 2nd time, he could see another thing. It doesn't say sheikh lishvotim and lishvot tov. To say that he noticed that the openings of the tents were like every tent was moved the other way. They didn't have it like, straight. They didn't have that should be built. So why didn't they have it built simple? That they, like built like Western cities, that the streets. No, the Dafke didn't want to build it that way. They made it fadreit, so there'll be tznius. So that's a shot. That Vayisa Bilam Asena Vayadis Yisrael Sheikh L'Shvatim, when he saw that, he saw that the Jewish nation is special people, even though he was a goy, he was a nasty goy. When he saw that, he saw that the Eden are roiv, they're roiv for a broch. So Rashi learns that as soon as he started the brocha, was about this. He said, I can't curse the Jewish people. Why? Matoivu ohalecha Yaakov. Mishkenoisecha Yisrael. Oyalecha Yaakov, says Rashi, means that every tent, every oil from the Jewish people were not mechuven kzeh keneged zeh, which is a mid of tznius. Mishkenoisecha Yisrael is chaniyosecha. What's chaniyosecha? That the chaniya of the Yidden in the desert, v'chonu b'nei Yisrael ishal machanei of ishal digloi. He saw that the chaniya of the Yidden, which the pasuk says Loshanam, but the pasuk says chaniya. Where does the pasuk use the chaniya? Ish al machanei of ish al digloi. So the keneged, the two things that he saw that gave him the wow, that instead of wanting to curse them, he wanted to bless them. Keneged zeh, he said, Matoibu alecha Yaakov. Alecha Yaakov means the tents, that every Jewish tent was moved away so he doesn't look in the other tent. Mishkanei Secha Yisrael is Chaniyosecha. The Chani of the Shvatim was Ishal Digloi, that every Shevet had a separate degel and was resting separately. It's a double union of tznius. It's a double union of tznius. Side union of tznius that every family was degel for every tent was. And that's the difference between Alecha Yaakov, and that's from Ma Toivu. A Parshas Ma Toivu is not a broch, it's not a nevuah. It's divrei spilus. Wow, kama tov zeh. We say in Hebrew, kama tov zeh. That's not a brocha. It's not a nevilus. You're right. He's saying, wow. He's just, so he's mispal. It's unbelievable. Ma Toivu.
I never saw something like that.
I never saw something. Right. And Rashi learns it's keneged the two things that I said before in the pasuk. Sheikh l'shvotav means two things, that every shevet was separate, and within the shevet, every oil was separate. So for them at Bilam Gezog, I can't curse them, even though he was planning to curse them, and he wanted to outsmart the Rebbe Shalom. He said, "I'm not going to talk to the Rebbe Shalom. I'm just going to." But as soon as he looked at them, he saw that these are people. He never met such people in his life. Matoy v'alecha Yaakov, oilim is the tents, that they were betznius. Mishknesach Yisrael is chaniyosecha, which is v'chonu ish al diglei v'isha, that every shevet was separate, which is a double union tznius. And that is a very good shot. And Rashi, there's only one little kashas that Rashi has. L'choyre, in the previous mashma, the first thing he saw, Ro kol shevet sheichem la'atzma ve'en. The second thing was Rosh, and it makes sense. When you look from far and you saw 100,000 people, and what was the first thing you would notice? That there is 12 flags and there's 12 groups of people. Now, if you look closer with the binoculars, you'll notice that every tent is moved away from the other tent in a way that's snua, that they can't look. But that's not the first thing you see. First thing you see is you see 12 big poles, and you see 12 big flags, and you see that there's 12 different shon takazoi. When Rashi says Vayisa Bilam Aseinov, and he saw Sheichem L'Shvotav, number one is Rokol Shevet V'Shevet Sheichem L'Atzma V'Einem Urav. Number two, Rosh Ein Pischem Chavonim Zakeneged Zeh Shelo Yotz L'Techel Chaveder. So why is it over here when he says Matoivu, he should say first Matoivu Mishkenesach Yisrael, which means that every Shevet, every Chaniya was a separate degel. And then Oyalecha Yaakov, which is every tent separately. Why is it that the pasuk says the other way? Rashi says a lot of times, sometimes you have to, twist the pasuk the other way. He said it this way, but really he saw it the other way.
It may not have been chronological.
Right.
She's going.
It's not the big
by phrase in the pasuk.
Why did he say it this way? Why? If he saw
and you say when he could have reversed it.
We can, so that's it. You can say he reversed it. He saw A and then B.
Well, I mean,
first he saw.
Wait, are you saying is Rebbe saying that Rashi could have put the?
Rashi's saying Oyalecha means the tents.
And he could have put the other. He could have reversed the shot from Matovu with
No, Oyalecha means everyone's tent. Oyalecha means everyone's tent. Mishkaneshecha means the Shvota. But he's asking, L'choyda, it's mash from the previous Rashi, that Bilam first saw how every Shevet was resting separately. And then when he looked closer, He saw that every tent was tsanua and removed from the other tent. So why did he say Matoiv Alecha Yaakov, which Alecha means every tent separate, and then Mishkan Eisecha, that every shevet? Why didn't he say it the way he saw it?
Well, the pasuk isn't chronological then.
Right, the pasuk is that. So why? So it's not the most burning question.
You could say that the ikar of the two inyanim is the sneas of the tent more than the sneas of the shevet.
Why would you say that? Why? The fact that the Jewish people that every shevet
collective sneas and individual sneas, and I would take
why
even more.
Why? Maybe fakir. Maybe that every shevet.
Well,
every shevet.
I'll give a mashal. If we have 10 people in the show, and 7 of them are sneas, so you'll say rove of the shore sneas.
No, every Jew was resting in the shevet.
Is that every Jew?
No, but there was 2 levels in the sneas. One is that
when you look at you stand on the mountain and look, what do you see the first things? You see
12 flags.
Individual, or you see 12 flags?
Yeah.
You see 12
flags.
So that's Lashvata.
Yeah.
Now in the Shevet itself, you start looking and say, oh, 1 second. In the Shevet itself, there also is. It's like a second part.
Yeah.
So you see one thing and you say
I'm saying the second thing is more chashuv than the first.
But why? Why do you think it's more chashuv? The fact that the people knew that we belonged to this shevet is a very big thing. It's a very deep thing of tznius. The fact that the Jewish people, like Chazal made that takona, for many things like lekahuna, if he doesn't know who his father, meshaskenos lekahuna, even though we know for sure that there was 2 men that are kohen, that they were with a woman, and and the babies for sure are kohen. We say no, it doesn't matter. Because he doesn't know who his father is. Why? Because this is missing tznius here. Like, whatever. Who's this? He's a goyim. Who's his father? Ben? I don't know. Maybe this guy, maybe that guy. Who cares? They're both goyim. We say, no, Meshaskenais. So the fact that the Jews were all, every shevet, what was the guy that was Megadif? What happened? The guy that was Megadif, because he went to the Bezdin of
who are you?
Of Moshe Rabbeinu, and they said, "Who are you? What do you mean you're coming here? Bring the papers." So each one used to bring the to show. So this Megillas Yichus that everyone had shows an unbelievable thing of tznius, that the women basically were very tzanua, and every family knew exactly who his father is. That's an unbelievable level of tznius. So I don't know which is more important. Okay.
All right.
So therefore, there's a little bit of a kasha.
This is why you use the lotion Va'isa.
Huh?
By everyone being it says Va'isa upon the say no.
Yeah.
Why using the lotion the Va'isa Mishelo? What's he went like to higher level Va'isa? Like he raised his eyes. His eyes was down, then he raised his eyes. Well, we don't say nothing about it. In the Sicha,
he doesn't say anything about it. Right.
Even that goes with the Ruach HaLokim that he was elevated.
He went on the top of the mountain, so he's not very sick. He looked
right. He looked down. Maybe
on a spiritual level, he was elevated.
He raised his eyes to see deeper, not just.
Because it always says, "Let's hear about Ruach HaLokim."
That's what raised his eyes.
That's what I was saying. I'm sorry.
You don't say anything about
that shit doesn't say anything.
All right.
The Rebbe doesn't say anything. So that's the one pshat. So therefore, because there's a little bit of a kasha, the Rashi wants to say a second pshat, that oil and Mishkan is talking about the Beis Hamikdash. Oil moyed is talking about the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, so it's nice. It's very nice. So Rashi says like this. But what is Rashi saying like this? Yeah. Rashi is saying like this. We said before that Bilam said, you know what, the Rebbeinu Shalom wants to curse them and doesn't want to curse them. I have a trick. I'm going to look at the place of their sins, which is the Egel Azov, and it will be chal automatically the Kolo.
How do you know then that it's going to be later on? So that's anyone say.
No, on the Egel Azov, it was already. The Egel Azov was.
This is the 40th year.
This is the 40th year. The Egel Azov was the first year. So And he knew about it. He was the Geven Hanavi.
was a Navi.
He's looking what happened 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
he looked what happened
So
4
maybe
years.
that place is going to be.
They even say that
Yeah.
he was one of the 3 by Paroi that
Yeah, he was one of the 3 advisors. He knew it.
kind
And when the Yidden, the Medrash says that the Yidden asked him, what's going on? Mount Torah, Hashem is Lamid, Hashem is Shalom. He knew a lot of things. He was a Navi.
And if he was a Navi, maybe he could look in the future.
Okay, but he's not looking in the future. He's looking here in the past.
No, I meant
He
the
said-
base of Mikdash.
Oh, 1 second. So he said, I want to curse the Jews. I don't care what the Rebbe Shalom wants. But the third round, he didn't. He didn't go to be menachish, and the Eibishter will give him permission to curse or not. He's going. And then what is he doing? Rashi says he's going to look at the place of the Egel Azov, and he's going to mention the Avedis and the Klol.
Maybe the Klal will call because it means.
So Rashi saying that he said, Matoy Balak Yaakov Mishknesat Yisrael. He saw the Mishkan. So he said, how, even if they didn't sin, but because they have,
Mishkan is a kapora and the Chetzegel.
right. So we asked, you saw the mile, why is Rashi to say the mile of the Mishkan is Mitzad, Kaporas Avonis? Because that's Vehemshech to what we said before. He said, I'm going to look at their Avedis, and the Klolo will be chal on their Avedis. But as soon as he looked,
He saw the Mishkan.
he saw the Mishkan. And he said, he was Fatiyal of Ruach Elokim. He said, how can I curse them? Why? Because I'm going to just mention their Avedis.
Yeah,
But they have Karbonis. And the Karbonis is Mechaper on their Avedis. So someone's going to say, Bilam, what? Are you a dumbbell? You don't know? The Karbonis are only Mechaper on the Shoigig. It's not Mechaper on Amazing. We were just learning like in Tanya, yesterday's Tanya.
Yeah, every Jew is amazing. I mean, every Jew did
Right, if a Jew does a loitas, so he asked over there, the Mekubalim asked if a person sins and he should fast, right?
Yeah.
So how many times? Is it like
If
a
you don't
carbon
know,
oiler?
that
Right,
way.
like a carbon oiler, which is once, or like a carbon shoigeg for every Aveda. And then he said that the shorter was 3 times. Yeah, crazy amount.
Way more. Yeah.
Crazy amount.
No, at least.
And then the Alter Rebbe said, no, Zman Hazeh,
There's no way.
no way.
It's okay.
Because give tzedakah, and that's why we give a lot of tzedakah. And okay, so
By the way, some Chassid don't understand, and he said, "I'm not making a bear. It's too much to
I
fast."
know. I read it and it was very.
yeah, it's too expensive. So, but the Alter Rebbe says, don't fast, give tzedakah.
Okay, will be
Okay,
right.
We have to
fine.
read the little words on the bottom, so it's okay.
So a person can say to Bilam, hey, you don't realize. Wait a minute. The Karbonis is only atones for Shegek, not for Mezit.
Yeah, make it of course.
So the answer is, so therefore he said, Matoy Balak Yaakov Mishkanoi Secha Yisrael. Even when the Beis Hamikdash is chorev, and Adarab, when the Beis Hamikdash is chorev, it's mechaper even more. Now it's mechaper on the nefoshes, like the pasuk says, nefesh asher tasa biyad Roma. So that's why he used the lashon nefesh, is mechaper, and that's why he brings the pasuk kila shemas chamosoi bayetz. It's eish betzion. The what's rakila shemas chamosoi means that the person's angry, and he puts his hand and he punches a piece of wood until he takes a piece of paper and he rips it up, and another piece of paper until he gets all his anger out. Like they have these mishigas with anger management.
No, in Manhattan they have a room where you come in and break whatever you want.
Right,
I heard
exactly.
about it. You pay and you can break plates. And,
Take the bubble slapper
yeah,
and go like this.
Yeah,
they have
They-
room for that.
Yeah,
Fun that
they have these things.
But it's relaxing.
Yes.
So whatever. I mean, most normal people don't need it, but Nebuch, there are people that need this thing, and they say, okay, so don't do it in a destructive way. Go in this room, and
Go pour your money in cigarette.
okay. So that's the mashma on the pasuk. Kilas Hashem chamasa, that he finished off he was machala. He ended all his chamasa
And
went in the eitzim and the avonim, and nothing was left. There was no-
Where do we see that it's even now?
So that's what he said. He was the Chanavi, like you said. He said, I want to have a trick. I'm going to mention their Avedis. And their Avedis, the Klola must be Chal their Avedis. But I know that they have a Beis HaMikdash, and over there they bring Korbanos, it's Mechaper and the Nefoshes. You're going to tell me that there's sometimes Yidden do Avedis B'Meizid. But even that, the Eibush is Mechaper, like we find by the Churban Beis HaMikdash, that it was a mashkoin. The Eibush said he's taking it as a mashkoin. What's a shot? Because the Eibush wants that to be machaper, he doesn't want to take it away stamazay. He wants to take it away in order to be machaper and the nefoshes. So these people, I'm going to curse them. How's it shaykh to curse them? I thought I'm going to have a trick. I'm going to curse. I'm just going to mention their Avedis. Once I mention their Avedis, then the klola must be chal on their Avedis. But when he saw the Beis HaMikdash, and he taka was a nog, and he saw that the end there's going to be a churban, but the churban is not stam a churban. The churban is that the Eibishter puts all his anger kilu into the wood and into the rocks, and he's machaper al nefoshes, which is he's machaper even on the mazid. So these are the people. So now I'm going to go curse these people. So that's a second pshat of Rashi. That's a new pshat. That's a new pshat. That's what Rashi is saying. That's pshat. Oyel mishkan. Mishkan means meloshen mashkan. So first he said, Matoy bolach Yaakov. There's the union of oil, which is when the Beis HaMikdash is standing. And when the Beis HaMikdash is standing, there is, Rashi said, Matoyvu oil shilu Beis HaLam b'yishuvim shemekirivim korbanos l'chaper alay. So I'm gonna mention their Avedis and the Klal Michal, but they have Korbanos, that's Mechaper. You're gonna say that the Kapor is only on Shoigig, not amazing? Mishkanai Secha, Avchem Charevim, Lefi Shehem Mashkan Aleim. Is still Churban Kapor al Nefoshes, Shenem Akila Shemus Chamase, Makila, Vayetzes Eish Betzion. So therefore, so how can I put again? He said I have a trick. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna mention their avoinus, and the male the kola is gonna have to be chal. No, we see that the Rebbe Shalom give them a Beis HaMikdash, and they can bring korbanos, and it's machaper, and even you're gonna tell me Mazid, the Eibush is also machaper. He loves the Jews, so the male he gave the Yidden a brach instead of a klola. Therefore, he gave them a brach. Okay.
Anytime people say they have a car accident, a flat tire, this, like what the Epstein wants from me? Look at it, it's giving you a brocher. It's
Exactly.
like the car, not you felt for the
Exactly.
Not you get.
Yes.
But people don't see it. They curse. Get nervous. Oh, I missed the train. Oh, I missed the flight. I mean,
Rashi Ford thinks that the first shot is more Shutishal Nikra. There's a few Nikudis that are a little bedoichik in the second shot. First of all, when we say Mishkan Shiloh is a mashka, the Yidden are never getting back Mishkan Shiloh. The Beis HaMikdash we're getting back. The second Beis HaMikdash we're getting both back. Because each one of the Bate Mikdashos had a mile that the other one didn't have. The third Beis HaMikdash are going to have both miles put together. So when we're going to have the third Beis HaMikdash is going to have the first and the second, all the miles rolled into
plus the Mish.
plus.
The Mish.
But l'choyre the Mishkan Shiloh is not coming back, and also to call the Beis HaMikdash oil is a little bit about doifik. So therefore, Rashi feels that the first pshat is more posh, and that's more Vayisa Bila Masena Vayaris Yisrael Sheichel Shvota, which Rashi says the Shvota means two things. He saw two midas of tznius. He saw that all the Shvatim are camped in separate places. Second midas of tznius, he saw that the tents are turned from each other for tznius, and for this he says Matei V'Alach Yaakov Mishkan Yisrael. The tents are tzanua, and also every shevet is tzanua. Elamai, there's a little vakasha, the seder, snishas agrois vakasha. Therefore, Rashi brings taka second shot that Oyalech Yaakov Mishkan Yisrael is going on the other pasuk that he says V'lo holach kefam b'fam lakas nachoshem vayoshes al midbar panav, which Rashi says means that he said, I'm the third time as a charm. I'm not going to ask the Eibishter and be menachish if the Eibishter will let me curse. I know the Eibishter is not going to let me curse. I'm going to outsmart the Rebbe Shalom. I'll mention the Avedis, and automatically the Klala will be Chal. But as soon as Vayis he said, Matoi V'lach he saw the Beis HaMikdash, and he saw number one that there's karbonos that are machaper, and number two, he saw that even b'shas karbonon the Eibush is machaper. And fakir, the Eibush is machaper even on the zodon. So how can I put a klola? It's fakir. They have to give a broch. But the Rashi feels that that's further away from Pshat Shemika, therefore he brings it as a second pshat.
You asked one of the questions, why does Rashi have to give a reason for the Pesalam and just having that
Right.
Shrosh
So that's the answer. Because we're not talking the Maila of Ashras Hashchina. We're talking behemshach to what he said in the pasuk. That he didn't go like the first two times to ask the Rebbe Shalom permission to curse them. He's going to be a smart aleck. I'm going to find their Avedis, and automatically it's going to have to be Chal my curse. So when he saw the Beis Hamikdash, he saw that there's korbanos. So he said, "How am I going to get? I'm going to curse them because I'm going to mention the korbanos. The Eibush forgives them. The Eibush, that's why it's not Negeya that shows a Shechin over here. It's Negeya that they have the power to bring korbanos. I had a trick. I'm going to mention their avoidance, and automatically the fall will be chal. But they have a trick. They have korbanos, which wipes away all the avoinus. And even avoinus that were done by Zav and get wiped away through the Beis HaMikdash. So how is my quality going to be chal? He realized it's not going to be chal.
Yeah. When I read this Rashi just as a comment, it immediately reminds me that in the Dayenu, in the Iyo Kamot and everyone asks, why do we need
to say what's in the Geya?
So at least by the Matovu from Bilam, we have a shot in the Rebbe.
Exactly.
But that obviously
that doesn't answer that. No, that doesn't answer.
No,
that doesn't exactly.
But it's interesting that you have the same idea by both in Yom,
right?
Though they're very different.
Right, it's beautiful. You see, just like over there also, the Meforshim will ask. What do you mean? He has a shot over there also. Yeah, more than one shot. And the God, there's more than one shot. But not like this shot. A different shot. We had once. But you see, Taka, the older Meforshim asked. You're telling me Barlan was a Pchina, so special. It's a Pchina special because it's Ashras Hashchina.
Yeah.
So over there's one teretz, and here's another teretz. Yeah. Okay, like what's the Rebbe's?
Basically, have 3 strike.
Yeah. Out. Yeah.
This one is third strike. That's it.
Now it was his third strike. Yeah. After that, he was done. Yeah. After this one, right after this one, he knew that he was out. Elamai.
Balak didn't fire him after the first time.
Right.
Balak was so desperate.
That's the sinner. You see the sinner?
Yeah.
The sinner. Again.
And you see that Amalek fought. Balak was a coward. He could have also fought.
Right.
He was a coward.
We needed him for later.
What?
We needed him for later. He's great grandfather of Bruce.
Right. Moyev, exactly. That's why we destroyed Midian, not Moyev.
Yeah.
Now we get to the big word from the Rebbe. The Rebbe said that from this Rashi we learn a very big lesson, Al Pi Musa. There's two things. There is the opinion of Tznias that the tents were moved away from each other. So the Rebbe says, a person is going to say, the opinion of Tznias that every shevet is separate. Okay, that we're going to keep. But that every tent has to be separate. And when, maybe if I'm living in my house, but if I'm living in a tent in the summer, I'm going camping and I'm going in a tent. So also then when I'm going camping and I'm going in a tent, I have to make tznius, like the story with the Magid that he sent, the Baal Shem Tov sent a rich man to be by the Magid. And he came, he asked, where's the Tzaddik Rebbe? And everyone said, we don't know about Tzaddik Rebbe, but there's a poor man at the end of the town. He's a Malamed. Maybe you're looking for him. And he came to his house. and he saw he was so poor he couldn't even afford to buy benches. So he had kletzer. He had pieces of wood, and the kids were sitting in pieces of wood. And he was teaching. After he finished teaching the kids, the man said he was sent from the Baal Shem Tov. He said, "How could you live in such aniyas v'dachkus? You don't even have a chair in your house." So the Maggid said to the rich man, "I don't see. Where's your chair? I don't see you carrying a chair with you." So the man said, "There's Chabatlev. I have a house with beautiful couches and drapes. Now I'm going to Leipzig to do business. So I don't have a couch. I'm not going to schlep a couch with me." The Maggid said, I'm also traveling. I'm just passing through. I'm just traveling here. So I don't need to schlep a couch with me while I'm traveling. I'm also on the road. So a person is going to say, it's the summer, I'm on the road. So when we're together with the 12 Shvatim, even if I'm in a tent, I'm going to make sure to put Ba'ifin Sanua. But I'm upstate New York in some tenting ground,
seeing all the people you know back in Brooklyn. Hi.
So
they also be tznius.
they have to be tznius there too, and that's the lesson. And through that tznius, kumtar is the gresta bracha. The Rebbe said, it's unusual in the Sicha, like double bold letters. The Rebbe coined this unbelievable phrase which Shmuel just mentioned. Chazal say, "Achטא ואשוב הם מספיקים ביodei לעשות tshuva." Simple pshat, it means "Achטא ואשוב" means I'm sin and then I'll do tshuva. So that's not a way to do. But the Rebbe said, "Achטא in the Catskills, ואשוב to New York, then when I'll be in the Catskills, I don't have to be so b'tznius."
What happens in the Catskills stays
in the Catskills. Yeah, that's what
it's not so.
It's not so. So
there's more people there.
Achטא ואשוב.
There's more people.
Achטא asher oshuv oida.
Might as well stay here. Yeah, it's the reverse. It's more.
Can't do it. You can do this over here.
Yeah.
So
you can't do it anywhere.
That's the point.
Yes.
That's the point.
Yeah.
So that's the Inyan that we learn from this Rashi. We learn from this Rashi the Gewalt, the Midas Atznius, that even when it's a oil ara, it's in the summer, that a person has to be nizer in the Inyan of Tznius. And this is negay for men equally, and women and the men are the same thing.
What's crazy is after this stuff happened with all the sneers and everything at the end of the Parsha.
Right. But the foil, that was his eitzah. His eitzah was to destroy their tznius. But when he saw the tznius, he was nesbal. He had an eitzah to.
Yeah.
Basmelech would use.
Yeah, but after the
right, you're right.
The whole 24,000 people
died. That was his eitzah to turn around. He saw the Eden Atsanua. So that's where the brachas come from. The Rebbe makes it all the clothes into bracha when Eden are misnag b'tznius. We were talking with the Shabbos. I don't know. My kids were talking about this. There's 4 magazines, so they have like a section for women, and apparently they're writing back and forth for the past few weeks about appropriate boundaries in workplace, between men and women, and like from people. So my daughters were a little bit upset that someone wrote Kilu that the onus is on the women. If the women would not dress so nicely, so then the men wouldn't feel that attraction, so they wouldn't. So also given good if the women don't put on makeup, don't dress nicely. So Maraf Senigre was my daughters did not take to those comments very nicely. They didn't think it made sense. I must say, I agree. My daughters are right. Hilchot Tznius is not. We're not Muslims. Hilchot Tznius is only for the women, not for the men. It's equal for men and women. The Rebbe says Hilchot Tznius the first few simonim. I'm not talking about women, but I'm talking about men. So and then the Hilchos Krishma and Chas Tefillah is also about the men. It's onus on the man. He can't say Krishma if the Mekaymis HaMechusim from his wife, it could be for her, she's allowed to, in her own house, walk around and boyfriend that certain parts of her body are Megula. But for him, he can't read Krishma Tefillah in front of her. So we're talking about him, we're not talking about her. Later, maybe later we talk about tznius of women. But tznius, the hilchas tznius.
We had the last pasuk in the last week's Torah, Hasnei Aleches.
Right.
It doesn't specify men, women.
Right.
It goes in everybody.
Right. So tznius is men and women equally.
We have more the part of tznius than the women.
And the Rebbe said, but the women have
men to
matoiv.
fit to his non-tznius. The women not so much.
Yes, there's a whole discussion
Yes.
about it. Right. The Rebbe says that's Pshat matoiv, but before it, the woman sets the tone, the Rebbe says. So therefore, matoiv, when it comes to tznius, we know Beis Yaakov, Be'ela Anoshim, Yisrael Ela Anoshim, Beis Yaakov, Be'takol Be'Yisrael. Talking about tznius, the Rebbe says, B'rem, as you could say, matoiv alacha Yaakov, Mishkan Sach Yisrael, that the first, if the women will be tznius, the men will be nimshach, and also will have the courage to be tzanua. But versteht so that the onus is on men and women equally. There's no way to say this thing, if this thing, the responsibilities for the women. And I think it sounds like a mamish hepech haseichel to say that a woman should not be a woman in order for it's mamish.
It's just 5 means so.
Right. So yeah, so that was the Rebbe said that we see the biggest brachas that come to Klal Yisrael, like we see by Kimchis that she said she had the seven sons Kohen Derlim because of extra ziyidus, and tznius. So that's the pshat according to Rashi. Matoiv alach Yaakov Mishkan Yisrael, that a guy which is such a Rasha like Bilam Rasha, that when he sees the midas hatznius of Bnei Yisrael, even though when they're camping, he sees the midas hatznius, all the shvatim are separate, every tent is separate. So midas hatznius is mahapach every klol lebracha. So the same thing by us. Elamai, the Rebbe says that this generation midas hatznius is a very difficult challenge. Why? Because there's maligim, al yevish maligim. That Rebbe said it's like a chosn ha'ilach ben avelim. There's an expression. The Avelim ripped off their clothing, and he should walk around like a chassan fully dressed. Today, in America, everyone ripped off their clothing. So a person going to say he's going to walk around like a chassan bein Avelim. They're all undressed. They ripped off their clothing. He's going to walk around like a chassan bein Avelim. No, there's maligim. There's those that make they laugh. That's why it's a big nisoyan. The union of is a very, very big nisayon. But the Rebbe said the Moed de Kavod, it's not in the Mugad Sicha, because the Rebbe said it like, the Rebbe said that maligim could mean two things. Maligim can mean the people that laugh at you, and maligim Sofi Legis. A Sofi Legis means a safa, which is ileg, which is crooked, not what's the today's society. If a person dresses or acts in the life of tznius, they laugh at it. That's number one. Number two, they have a crooked way of thinking. Why is it crooked? Because Seichel Ayosha says that why would you be hepech tznius? Hepech tznius is if a person say a person dressed in the way of a hepech tznius, does that add to the other people that they should from that have more seichel? Does that give them midas toivus? Does that increase their midas tzedakah? No. What does it do? So if a woman, for example, dresses not the boyfriend sanua, if there's another person that has a chelak in them, they have a little bit of ra. So it was dormant, and now that ra jumps out, and even if it wasn't dormant, but it wasn't burning fire. So now this chelak ra that was in that person is burning fire. And this woman gains nothing from it. So, but she loses because but Lapoil, when a person. So when a person's megardi, it's a horror from someone else. So he has a chelik in that thing. So it's a hepech haseichel hayosher, the union of not being mitznius again, tznius doesn't only have to mean, it can mean when a man acts noif and not tznius in an extravagant way, and shows off, and brings, the bottom line is, the union of hepech tznius is megara the chelik ran, someone else. So what do you, and I gain nothing from it. I gain nothing from it. But the other person who had a chelik ra that was dormant, or not such a big flame of fire, now we got to fan the flame. And now we're giving an example of a not sanua woman. It could be a man who's flaunting his money. It could be many things, not sanua. But the bottom line is that the not sneas makes that the chelik ra and the people around me, all of a sudden it gets flamed up. So what did I gain? Nothing. But what I did was I fanned the flame for someone else's chelik ra. So now I have a hand in someone else's ra. That's not seichel hayosher. Seichel hayosher is I should try to have my hand in chelik hatoiv and to increase good for other people. And now instead of that, I have a hand in the chelik ra. So Mamela, it's that's a shot that it's an assignment which is really maligim. It's not only the assignment is that it's takan assignment because the whole world is going crooked. They're going crooked. The whole idea of fashion and how people have to dress. So there is chelik of fashion, which is nice. Whatever. My suit, scuffling, what's that?
That's from 50 years ago. That's a problem.
That's nice. It's nice. Women should wear nice shoes, nice hat, nice jacket, whatever. That sounds good. But there is a chelik in which is to be megara the Yetzirah by someone else. To dress in a way that the other person's chelik ra should be
influencing other people.
So api seichel, a human being that's in this world should try to have his hand to leverage his power to have a chelik toiv and someone else is good. That I'm doing good things and people want to emulate me and also do good things. So I'm leveraging my good to have 10 times the amount of good. I'm doing good and people want to emulate me. So now there's another 100 people that want to do good. Samoyedic. Remember the Rebbe spoke of a long Sicha. There was a guy that had a yacht, a private yacht. And he wrote a letter to the Rebbe. The Rebbe was so, and he went.
He asked his
the captain,
motivation, which way
is Mizra?
And he asked him, "What you want to be a captain?" He says, "No, I need to know which way to daven." So this was spileless.
And the guy asked him, "I could also daven." He said, "Yeah, you can daven." We told him you pray to the Almighty. You don't have to be Jewish to pray. You talk to the Almighty. And the guy said, "If this rich man who owns a yacht, I'm his full-time driver in the yacht, he talks to the Rebbe Shalom, I should also talk to the Rebbe Shalom." So the Rebbe was like the Rebbe spoke about it. The Rebbe loved the story. The guy wrote this letter. The Rebbe was liked it. So this is chelik toiv. I'm leveraging. I'm an influential person. People look up to me. So Amela, when I do good, I leverage my good because another 100 people are going to want to emulate the good. But the same thing is a chelik ra. If a person dresses in a way that's suggestive, so the male is someone else who has it in them, and now it fanned the flame in their da. So their da has became much bigger. So I have a chelik in there. So what doesn't make sense? It's nahepach seichel hayosher. So that's the pshat. It's maligim. Not only the world is laughing at us, but the world is batsum going crooked. We're going straight. They're saying things that are crooked. So, but still, that's the big nesayon in our generation. The bottom line is that Bilam was in Spal, that Am Yisrael is Sanua. And Sanias is not only in Begodim, it's not only with women, also men. But it's very nicker by women and very nicker in the way they dress. And the Klal Yisrael is through Matoy Valachi Yaakov, that the women are Tzanua. Shknesech Yisrael, that the men are Tzanua. So then even Bila and Rosh is Mispal, and all the clothes turn into Bracha. They shall have the ultimate Bracha, which Mashkin that comes back, the Binyan Beis HaMikdash HaShlish.
That was beautiful.
For sure. What's the shayla? Sneezing is. Yeah, exactly.
Someone. Rabbi, is there a shiur tomorrow night?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Beautiful vort, Rebbe.
Yes, I agree.
What did you say?
We'll see.
Yeah, what are you saying? No, I'm talking to you.
What Rupert said about that crystal all the yacht need to provide. We hear the more interest that you're kind of so he sold his donkey and then the guy gets to go to work at Calvin's, I should work at Calvin.
And he was Megayed. And they called him later, he became a tzaddik. He became an Amoyed. They called him Ben